Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. So here's something that I've had sitting here for a little while that I was like in debate on whether or not I was going to review, and I guess I finally chose to do so because obviously we've got a very interesting Dolores the Aquilops figure. So this is a Jurassic World Rebirth release, obviously, and it's basically like a shoulder-sitting accessory to like a Halloween costume, or just in general an everyday costume if you want to go that route. But it's basically got like straps down here to sit up on your shoulder. If you want a demonstration of how it does that, you can very clearly see that here with these two kids on the packaging back here. They obviously have the dinosaur sitting up there on their shoulders. So pretty interesting idea, and again, I think it, goes nicely with Dolores as a whole and the way she is portrayed in the film. On the back, you basically just have like a description here of how you would apply the figure. Now, this isn't going to be like a super impressive, very thorough review. I'm actually going to pull it out of here and then just try to pop it out of the packaging, as I don't think this figure is going to be anything that people are looking to like get into their collection to scale with other dinosaurs or anything like that. Although I would say it seems like it is roughly 1-to-1 scale for what we see in Jurassic World Rebirth. I would think it is pretty much, full-sized. But when you get nice and close to the figure, obviously it's not going to look super impressive, but they did put a lot of details into it. Like, you can even see that they actually have like different style scales and everything on the figure itself as you lead up into the frill, which doesn't really stand up too well, but you can see they've even added some really nice scales and everything up there. All sorts of variation of color with light tans and browns and stuff. You can even see like pinkish tones moving up and over the top of the head right there. We do have those horns, those very small horns that Dolores portrays, and we can see even those have a little variation of color to them. They are kind of pushed over to the side. I don't know if there's a way to really get them to stay up. If you just put them in a certain position and held them there for a long time, I'm not sure. But you can see, again, it looks pretty decent. We have the beak, of course, as well, looking pretty good with a little variation of color in that area. The figure itself is very clearly like a stuffed animal, like a plush, so it's extremely flexible and obviously isn't something that's going to be an inconvenience on your shoulder if you happen to use this for Halloween or whatever your intentions are. As you move down, again, you continue to have a little variation of color, even moving along the underside of the figure. As you lead back up, all sorts of variations of browns and everything. You can even see like some blacks that have been applied as you move through, helping to highlight the scales and everything, which they do a pretty decent job of with the figure, even almost like a reddish brown moving over the top of the back. Moving down, you of course also have the legs, which look pretty decent. They don't look terrible. Obviously, you're not going to see like muscle definition or anything displayed on them, but they look all right for what they are. You also have the claws colored with black, although this one doesn't perfectly meet up. Obviously, you can see, again, not picture perfect, but it looks okay for what it is. You'll see the same thing here on the rear foot. You can even almost make out like some scoots moving down that middle toe, which is pretty cool. And then you move out, and yes, you do even have that striping effect out there on the end of the tail, which of course is what you would see on Dolores. And when it comes to the actual colors and everything, they look pretty much as I remember them for Dolores, which is a huge plus for the figure as well. Again, obviously it does look a little bit silly, a little bit goofy because it is a plush figure and it's all kind of scrunched down, but for the most part, I like it. And again, the fact that it is, fairly large, basically what I would think is, roughly 1-to-1 scale. I would think it would be somewhere in that size range. That means it's pretty big as a whole. You were looking at about, to the tip of the horn, if it was actually sticking out, I would think about 15 3/4 inches or around 40 centimeters. And then for a height, just shy of 6 inches or 15 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, Robert Muldoon, and the Collect Day Human Being next to our Aquilops. And you can see, again, it definitely has a very nice, very large size to it. So if you are planning on getting this, again, just know that it's going to look like an actual Aquilops sitting on your shoulder. You can even see here next to the Mattel Interactive Aquilops that the version that sits on your shoulder is, again, a whole lot bigger than pretty much any other Aquilops that we have out so far. So this is definitely the very first version that I would say, again, would be life-sized. I'm pretty interested if we're going to get like a super colossal version at some point, because they could very easily, it doesn't even need to actually be super colossal, like they could make a life-size version of this dinosaur and release it, and it doesn't even need to be all that huge, because clearly, although this is big, I would say it's definitely bigger than like a gigantic Trackers figure, but it's smaller than a Super Colossal. So again, it's decent size, but Mattel could very easily release a full-size version of this dinosaur, especially when it comes to the Rebirth version. And again, here we have one of the gigantic Trackers with the Siamosaurus next to the Aquilops, and you can see again that it is a little bit bigger than a gigantic Trackers figure, so showing you that again, it's got a pretty nice size to it as a whole. So Rebirth has had quite a bit when it comes to different merchandise and stuff that has come out, but I think this is a pretty fun addition to the Rebirth merch. I think it was a really cool idea and something that not only goes well with the way that the dinosaur is in the film, but is also just something fun that people can use this Halloween, again, for your costume, or if you just for some reason want to walk around your town with an Aquilops on your shoulder. Again, it's a pretty neat accessory, no doubt about that. They did a good job of, capturing the overall likeness of the dinosaur with, again, not like a picture-perfect appearance, because it, again, is kind of like a little scrunched-up sort of plush figure, but it looks cool for what it is, and the fact that, again, it looks so highly detailed is also really nice. So it could be a very cool addition, again, to any Halloween costumes this year. What's also cool is it's not all that expensive. I mean, I guess a plush, you wouldn't expect it to be massively expensive, but I think it was somewhere around like $20 or so when I bought it. I forget now, as I've actually had it sitting here for a little while and just now I'm finally getting to it, but I don't remember it being all that expensive. But if you are interested in this, I will include a link in the description to where you can purchase it on Target.com, because that's where I purchased mine. So check that link, grab it if you want it, and like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.